right. This is the first Teacher Tip Tuesday. I decided that's what I'm going to do and call it is Teacher Tip Tuesday. If you are wanting to hear a tip from a teacher who's at home with her kids trying to do this schooling at home thing, that's what I'm doing. So last week I just did like a Facebook Live that basically said the tip that I was giving was to breathe and to be a little bit more patient with our children, because that is just something that I have to do in the classroom constantly, is breathe and have a little bit more patience because these are other people's kids, not mine. So that was the reminder that I had to give myself last week. With breathing, that's really for us as grown-ups, right? But what do we do for the kids? So breathing, another really good choice, but with a child who might be needing some help of how to cope and deal with their frustration, like my daughter, we kind of had to discuss some different coping skills because breathing wasn't going to always work for her. So I went to a website called Teachers Pay Teachers. It's a great website that we use all the time to steal from other teachers. But this is something I found on there. It was free. All I did was type in coping skills, free. There's like filters that you can do. And this is what came up. So I didn't make this myself. It was there and it was free. So there's different coping skills that it lists here. And these are things that Lily and I discussed, because that day that I made that post, I had to use my breathing. But then I was thinking, okay, what specifically can I use for her? So I decided to teach her some coping skills that she could use. So when I'm breathing, she can also do a coping skill. Some of them are belly breaths, other things like rest. We changed this one because she didn't want to do wall push-ups, which is what it said. So I whited it out and I put draw a picture because that's something that she could do. Fidget, listen to music, count to 10, jumping jacks, go for a walk, yoga poses. She liked all of those. So then we talked about her mood. Specifically that day, she was very frustrated. So something that I would do to take the time in the classroom is to talk about the mood, the emotion that the child is feeling and how I could make it better. And this is something that took a little bit more time because I'm here at home and I'm able to do it. Like in the classroom, it would look a little bit different. But this is something that we did together with Lily. We talked about her frustration feelings and what it looks like on her. And then what we could do, our coping skill. So this is what it looks like. Her coping skill is taking a drink of water. A little bit more frustrated, looks like a little bit more tears. She can draw a picture. If she gets even more frustrated like she did on Friday, lots of tears, we could step away and do some slime, like where she can just play with it for a couple, and I'm not talking about the rest of the day, okay, couple of minutes where she can, and that way it just elevates and brings the emotions down. These are coping skills just like we as adults. If I need to take a break to breathe, they need them too. And so these are just more of the coping skills that we use. Now, you have to be the judge of when this is appropriate, obviously. But it's something that we've talked about. Now, this is a journal that I had gotten for Lily because she has a lot of emotions that we have to talk about. But again, I went on Teachers Pay Teachers. I just typed in free mood. I literally typed in mood meter, I think, and free. And this popped up. This is one that a teacher made that you could do digitally, but you could also print it out and do it with your child to be able to discuss the emotion. Because what you need to do is discuss the emotion and then a healthy coping skill of how we deal with the emotion. Kicking the desk is not a healthy coping skill. So we had to talk about that and how that's going to change. Now, if you have older kids, like the grade level that I taught, 3rd grade, I did not use something like this. Instead, it was just a list of belly breaths, rest, walk away. Like at school, that's what they could do, was take a walk around the building. They could go get a drink outside of the classroom, just to calm down. This is just to bring down those emotions so that way we can move on. So I would suggest maybe it's just a list. And when they hand you that list, that means they need to choose something from that list as a coping skill to walk away from. Being really honest, yesterday had a blowout with my teenage son, where we both decided we did not use healthy coping skills. We yelled at each other. But then afterwards, we had a discussion. I actually pulled this out and showed it to him, and we laughed about it, that I wasn't going to make him choose from that. But instead, what was something we could say to each other, or do to each other, not do to each other, say to each other, in order to know that we just need a minute to walk away. And that's what we decided. We'll just say that to each other. I need a minute. He can walk away without slamming a door or anything. But he can walk away. I can walk away. And we can just take that moment to breathe and to regulate our emotions, because that's what I think the biggest thing is when we're looking for patience with our children, and our children need it from us, is that we just need to learn how to regulate those emotions. And it's not easy. I mean, I'm giving you this advice, yet I told you I lost it with my son yesterday. So, but we're learning from it. We're learning from it, and we're trying to find a way to make it better. So today reminded him, if he needs a minute, he just needs to tell me. And before I start every class period with Lily, this is how we start, reminding her of her coping skills if she gets frustrated. So yeah, that's my teacher tip. We just have to take a little bit more time. I know it takes more time, and those of you that are working and doing this school thing at the same time, wow, I applaud you, because this is not easy, and if you're working on top of it, wow. Yeah, so that's my teacher tip for today. Thank you for joining me. I will be back next week with another tip that I already have in mind, because it was something I had to break out yesterday with Lily. So I already know what I'm going to talk about next week. All right, I hope you guys have a great week. If I can help in any other way, just let me know. Bye.